Be not rash with your mouth, nor let your heart be hasty to utter a word before God, for God is in heaven, and you are on earth. Therefore let your words be few, for a dream comes with much business, and a fool's voice with many words. When you vow a vow to God, do not delay paying it, for he has no pleasure in fools. Pay what you vow. It is better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not pay. Reading from Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 2 to 5. Welcome to Devotionals Concerning Marriage, the podcast where we pair the Bible to all things pertaining to marriage. Thanks for joining me. If you have been listening to and enjoying the podcast, then please follow and share it with a friend. You often hear, some men and women that are involved in the cohabitation phase of their relationship and yet are not married, because to them, not being married does not really matter. For these types of couples, it is often said, and typically said with no spiritual insight, that the only difference from cohabitation and marriage is, it is just a piece of paper. However, my friend, let's ask ourselves the question, is marriage just a piece of paper? Or in other words, is marriage no different than two romantic partners living together? There are many reasons we could list to argue the fact, to justify the notion that marriage is not just a piece of paper, both physical, spiritual, and legal reasons. But today, we will discuss one spiritual reason based on the selected Bible passages from the Book of Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 5, verses 2 to 5. The Book of Ecclesiastes, that often ignored Old Testament book that is found in the wisdom literature section of your Bible, right after the Book of Proverbs, is the book in whose speaker's purpose is to convince his audience to pursue a life that is practically wise under the eyes of God. And if you take the Bible verse under question, and if you apply it to those that say marriage is just a piece of paper, then through the wise words of King Solomon, believers can conclude that the claim they make that marriage is just a piece of paper is wrong. And those that espouse it often lie to themselves and to others about marriage being a piece of paper. Folks that espouse that lie fully understand in the deepest parts of their consciousness that the piece of paper also accompanies a vow before God. And therefore it is sacred, and I believe that they do not truly love their girlfriend or boyfriend enough to stand before a holy God and in the witness of others to make such a vow, especially if they believe in God. I say deep down in their subconscious, they know full well and seriously that they as a boyfriend or girlfriend should not make a verbal commitment before God to marry, cognizant of the fact that then they would be making a rash vow before God. A rash vow that they could not fully support in their heart and mind with a clear conscience. A rash vow that they know, if said in their vows to their husband or wife before God and a witness of others, would be a fraudulent statement and a fraudulent vow that they do not want to face God's wrath for foolishly making. When they say, marriage is just a piece of paper, that's a sign that their hearts are just not ready, my friend. And if their heart is not ready, then their conscience will strongly convict them if they go before the Lord and make a vow to their spouse. So therefore, when asked about marriage, they will lie and immediately say, it's just a piece of paper. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please follow the podcast and share it with a loved one.